Oh, wow. So I think, okay. Hey. Okay, it didn't get stuck this time. This is Dr. Doula. This is Andrea Little Mason, affectionately known as Dr. Doula. And I have been waiting and saying to myself, like, when exactly will I start talking? Because I said I was going to start talking just about the whole aspect of spiritual evolution that's been happening with me. And today seemed like a good day because I've been having all kinds of conversations, and it's brought me to a place where I feel like I want to talk about these experiences that I'm having. Now, I mentioned astrology, I think cardology. I didn't even mention like Reiki and other things. But right now, I'm pressed to talk about human design because specifically when I was researching it, I did not see many people. I didn't see anyone talking about what my experiences have been. So let me start by saying I would love for you to subscribe to my channel and like my video and all those other things, because I will be unpacking what my spiritual journey has looked like and my spiritual evolution has looked like. But so I know I'm supposed to say that, so let me go ahead and say those things. But I want to talk about, respectfully speak about human design. Now, when I first saw human design, I literally, someone showed it to me and I looked and my mind just went because of the way that I think, the nature of it. Let's see if I have something here. Um, it This is called the Rave Mandala. This is an empty one on purpose, but this is what it is. And I'm showing you this. So for me, when I first saw what it was and what it was talking about, because of the way my mind thinks, it blew my mind. With it, I saw um, the astrology, and then I saw these other aspects of things. And so I looked into them. So there's the I Ching, the Kabbalah or Kabbalah, but I've heard actually Jewish people call it Kabbalah, and also the chakras. It incorporates all these different things from different perspectives, right? And you can kind of see it. The I Ching is here around the edges. These astrology, this is, I'm not going into why the chakras look different, but then the channels from the Kabbalah. So all of these things are incorporated. So I'm there. So that's the foundation of, so you know what I mean when you say human design. So the first thing I'm going to say is it has been immensely helpful for me. Immensely. Just, I love it because this is how my mind thinks, channels and things that clink, 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 block like that. You'll have to go and look for that yourself. You can use mybodygraph.com if you know your birthday, your place, location of date, and your time of date. You'll get a body graph from it. I'll say right here, I am one of those old school people who don't believe in showing my astrology chart or body graph. Now my body graph chart, I'm just not one that shares it like that, because of my own particular beliefs. But you can see that, and then it'll have resources there to talk to you about it. And I'll share some aspects that are meaningful to me in later videos, but that's not what I want to talk about today. I want to start by saying that profound. I believe it's masterpiece work. It's just amazing. It's amazing. It was so amazing that I was exploring on my own. I was like, oh my gosh, I feel so much of this. I got all my people's charts. I talk to anybody in my family. If I talk to you and I can get your time of day, your time, birthday, and location, please know that I'm not speaking to anybody without having without having some knowledge of, oh, this might be that part of her that does that. Oh, this is why she does that. It makes life a lot easier for me. Okay. But there was a certain point, that I said, I really, really, really want to start interacting with other people. So this is where I'm talking about my experience. You might notice I put experiment in the title, and it's because in human design, it's called they talk about it as an experiment that you try for yourself, and I have a lot of respect for that. So one of the things that I wanted to point out is if you stay at a surface level of human design and you just begin to like really walk through it yourself, it is wonderfully rewarding. Okay. But when you go deeper, there are going to be individuals that have been in the experiment longer, have been working with their centers and gates and channels and well, no, that's not true. That's not how they would say it. They have been working with their strategy and authority. You have to look at it to see what I'm talking about. They've been working with their profile for longer, for many years. And so some things started to come up, and I just wanted to say something about it. There are those that are very, very committed to the person, and these are things that may help you if you just want to know. You need to know, okay? On the surface, you'll see that the person who developed, I'll say for the purposes of this video, that developed it, his name is Ra Uhuru, right? That's what he wrote it under. His real name is Alan Krakauer. That was his given name, but then he changed his name. But what you will hear a lot is Ra said. Ra said. Ra passed away in 2011. But you will hear, there are some times where you will hear, of course, if someone develops something, you do a quote, but there are others who have a stronger appreciation for the work that this individual did. Now, we could just call it the work, but when you get deeper into human design, you will learn that he heard a voice, and the voice told him, whatever. And there are those that, based on what how can I say this? Based on how they connect to this work, they are, hey T Luna, they connect to this work in a way where they will say that they are just admirers of Ra Uhuru, but it can come off rather dogmatically at times. I'm saying that from personal experience. I've just been in a group where I was, told all kinds of things. I could tell you the way that they said it to me, but it won't make sense to you because they talked about channels and gates being open and stuff. And that's more human design talk. But what I will say is, if you are going into human design, recognize that there are people that are very, very committed to, I'll say it this way because I try not to say it to them. I don't want to sound rude, but it is what it is. They are committed. They would never say it was like an religious thing because they view it in a certain way. They would never say, they would talk about it in channels and different things. But the truth of the matter is, when you come from a context of religion and knowing how people follow people, then you recognize it when you see it. And I recognize and know what I see. I've been in the past to said this moments where people do not question. And for some people, that is exactly how it is with the founder. Now, because of this amazing system, human design system, is called the science of differentiation. Because of this amazing system, you don't have to know anything about the person that created it. And you'll say, oh my goodness, this resonates with me. It's based on these ancient systems of knowing. Like I said, the I Ching is a Chinese divination system. They used it with the yin yang. It's all based in that. And then the astrology, and Kabbalah. That's all of this is ancient stuff. But there are people, because they perhaps maybe they learned from Ra himself, or perhaps they just think he's genius, as I was told today. And if I had whatever channel activated, then I would recognize his genius. But perhaps because I don't have whatever activated, I can't see his genius and the amazing things that would channel through him, through whatever, there are those that are very dogmatic, and I would be less. I tell people about everything wonderful that I learn about, but I would be remiss if I did not tell you about that. Okay. I know, because I know how people who think like this are. I waited for the certain things. So when you challenge, it's no different. I have a Christian church, whatever background. It's no different when you challenge something that the majority of the people have deemed to be a norm. And I waited for two things. I waited for one for someone to say, "Let me see your chart," which is a no-no. I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I don't show my charts, my astrology chart. I don't show it. I'm old school like that. And I'm not showing my body graph chart because it's a power move. I don't do that. And I believe that we're able to see certain things in certain ways. And so I'm not going to share that. The second thing, so someone said, "Can I see your chart?" I'm like, yeah, no, I don't really share it like that. But what you want to know? And it, I just thought maybe, because they didn't like my questions, because I ask all the questions. I do questions. I ask questions. I've done it since I was a kid. Oh, baby girl, God made everything with it. Who made God? That's my question. I ask questions. But the next question was, well, how long have you been in the experiment? And see, that's that stuff where when you get into something really, really deep, you stop realizing how it sounds. You stop realizing that. Okay. Now, I watched all the videos. There are other things I could say. I'm going to be really honest. Alan Krakauer, the Ra Uhuru, hearing him speak is not very, it's very abstract. His system is magnificent. It is so concrete that to me, it's like, boom, there it is. The I Ching is related to the DNA sequencing stuff. I'm talking about masterful. But when he talks, he's off somewhere up in here. I just said in the group, I said, it's not clear. His speaking and his writing is not clear, because I think they just transcribe what he says. It's very abstract. Doesn't make sense at all. And yes, some of it is very much on another plane. That's okay, because at the fundamental level, the general stuff that's given, I relate to it, and I think it's amazing. But I'm just going to tell you, just be mindful about where you go and start associating. There are people that have made this something that it doesn't necessarily need to be in order to be effective. And they will argue you down. And that argument, that doesn't matter to me. I don't know you anyway. We're on social media. But they will take something that can be a tool and very, very useful, and they've made it something other than. And so my biggest encouragement, and based on my experiences, my experiment is lovely. How long have you been doing this? That's what people say when they say, "How long you been saved? Girl, how long you been saved?" And then they do it as a hierarchy move, which is what I told him. I said, I found that people use this for hierarchy. One of the parts of the teaching is that it's the science of differentiation, that we're all unique and different. But when you engage with these specific people and they start talking about what Rod, and you're supposed to be your own personal authority, and they start talking about what Rod said and Rod didn't say and all this other stuff. And then if I draw attention to it, which is what I do, now it's like, this person actually said to me, they didn't say pushback. He said something about, you're going to face resistance in places with HD, with that's what called HD, human design. You're going to face resistance if because evidently this whatever is not for you. What are you talking about? All I asked was, what makes you trust this voice, or depend, or relate, be okay with Ra's words? Where's that authority coming from? And he went all the way and telling me, you're going to face resistance. I said, oh, what? Who you talking to? But as I prepare to get off, because I am going to be telling people, I do talk to people about human design and looking into it and things like that. But I want to be really honest. I'm going to read for you. There was a woman on there yesterday, and she invited me to a different group Because at a certain point, I'm not into cultish like things, and I would be lying to say that some of these people didn't have them tendencies. You just can't recognize his genius. What are you talking about? Oh my gosh! Folks always deify teachers. Exactly. I mean, deify. Thank you. See, Luna, you know how to say stuff right. They have deified them, but they would never admit it. They would never say it. So there's no need in going into that whole conversation because they would never say it. But this will, as I close, I was invited into another room, a person I've seen before, and she knew I was talking, I wasn't lying. I just kept saying, if you got personal authority, then why is there no one else that can speak and no one else that, why must the authority be there? I know church and stuff. What are y'all doing here? Looney said humans just want to make someone bigger than them so they don't have to live up to their own potential. And then to be talking about people evolving and whatever, but you have this person here and said, well, the voice said it this way. Ugh. But so when I got in the room, this is what I want to offer you. I want to offer you this. If you get into human design, amazing. It was life-changing for me. Luna was actually the one that told me about it. And I think life-changing for me. But I want to send out some warnings, okay? And I'm going to do it in this form. I'll put it in the form of reading a statement that was made in another human design group. And I'm hoping that by virtue of these statements having to be made, that you will understand that there are people that are doing the exact opposite thing when you get to trying to integrate get around these people. Okay. So, this is what it said. First point, we are all uniquely different. You should not have to say that when you're talking about the science of differentiation, and that's what the system is called. That's what human design is called, the science of differentiation. If that's the first statement that has to be made, then that should tell you about some of these individuals, okay? Some were already on their correct path or journey, some living correctly before coming into human design. You should not have to say that one human being getting a download and sharing something is not the saving of humanity, but there's someone on this path already. That should not need to be stated. But when you begin to interact with these people, prepare yourself to begin to have to look and say, wait, because there will be those that act as if until you saw the human design, you were not on your path. Okay? The next, why would we believe or think we express any type, profile, gait, etc., the exact same way when twins and other people that have the exact same chart, even down to the same base, don't express it in the same way? Some of those words won't make sense to you. But if you get involved with human design and decide to study human design, it will make sense to you. There are those that say with their mouths we're all different, but then try to lock you in. What year are you on in your experiment? Ross says it takes 7 years to totally deprogram and decondition yourself. But we're all different, right? Human design has evolved, and Ra has said many times not to believe it. Experience it for yourself. That is a self-verification system. So if you're going to get into human design, use it to verify you. Do you resonate with it? And there are those who I don't have to think like they do because we're all different, but some of them cannot think outside of just HD, astrology, or well, actually, there are no demons and whatever. Ross said it was really a this, and this, and this, and a that, and it was a crystallization of a so and so. Just letting you know. Um, it's about self-verification. Oh, I'm at 20 minutes. Let me hurry up. Why literally take and then parrot anyone's experience? When they say, Ra said, Ra said, Ra said, this is about your experience. And then life is about experiencing it. Yeah, it's about they actually call it your experiment. So it's your lived experiences. If it's not real for you, if it doesn't come through this way, it's like anything else. We have our own lived experiences. This is a science of differentiation, not sameness, nor pigeonholing. And then she said, read everything else above. Yes, this is not, but one of the things that drew me to it, because, Alan, the Ra, he was saying, hey, this is not about, we live in a homogenous society. We need to learn, from ourselves, learn to see ourselves in this homogenous society. But they get in those groups and I don't know why they can't see it. It's right there. We are unique beings. We do not perceive all things alike. Even the system itself, if you look at the channels are telling you that you're not going to perceive or speak or feel or intuit or anything the same way. But you get in these groups, I'm just telling you. Okay. So I just wanted to say that T. Luna's been writing. Let me see what you said. You've gone much deeper than I have, but I definitely understand where you're coming from. I see it all in all areas of spirituality and religion. Girl, bye. I'm just saying, oh my gosh. Someone read my chart and was like, oh, well, what I know about you, you're already on the path. So good job. Boom. That's how we end in this video, T. Luna. Okay. That's how we're ending this video. You're on, it's verification. Any of these systems, astrology, cardology, looking at, did I freeze? I hope not. Any of it is verification. You're not supposed to be learning. This is verification. So go for it. But I do want to encourage those who are really just looking to get their lives, like to align themselves and to see systems and things that I call them systems of knowing. Some people might say esoteric things or cosmologies. Just systems of knowing resonates with me, so I call it that. If that's what you're here for, if that's the party you came from, then when you hear these people start talking about stuff. How long have you been in? Well, you probably just don't know. This man's like, you sound very new because you don't know this and you don't. Who are you talking to? Who are you talking to? Of course, I use the terminology that they can understand to deal with them, because that's what I do. I like words. Okay. But I'm just going to throw that out there. Let's just not. So if you go, if you're going into anything, whether it's astrology, you can find it's like T. Luna said, you can go to any of these systems, and if you go and you look, you will find. T. Luna, give me a word. You do words well. Give me a word that describes those that are. I don't want to use a negative word. I could say zealots about anything. I try to just use the word passionate, but you're gonna find these people in anything that you do. I'm the systems, if they are truly divine, and even then some people don't believe in the divine or whatever, if they're truly for humanity, then they are for fundamentalists. Thank you. If they are truly for humanity, then they evolve. It's no different than what's happening politically in the Bible. There were certain things and systems that weren't even thought of to be used in the same way. And you must grow with it. Okay. Last thing, just so you're not surprised, when Rob was first talking about it, got the generators. I'm a generator. He used to say, like, the generators are the ones, the energy sources, the people. I'll talk about it another time. But he used to be like, the generators, and this Canadian man now, so he ain't not knowing. He said they're like the slaves. They got the energy to. See, we're not going to do that. That's what we're not going to do. That's what we're not going to do. We're not going to refer to people as slaves. And that 70% of the world is a generator. So 70% of them are what? That's what we're not going to do. So I've said enough. Words matter. Oh, I did want to give you the name of someone that suggested to me, because she doesn't use these archaic words, that he came up with a whole system of and putting things in words that just make it complicated for no reason, in my opinion. But I've been told it's because I can't see his genius. And the voice gave him those words, so that's what they should be. Whatever. One of the people who had studied under him, her name is Karen Curry Parker. And so I recently looked at some of her things, and I really like her energy around it. So Karen Curry Parker, just like look into her. Maybe she'll be a good entry point if that's something you want to do that's not as dogmatic. But I never intended for this to be so long. I just wanted to really share, because it's hard. Listen, these people mean business. They think something. He's like, you're going to face resistance. Oy, you're going to face resistance in HG circles. Really? Stop playing. Listen, if you receive something for humanity, you give that. And you do what you have to do and you move on. If someone is deifying you, that's a whole nother thing. Thank you for being here with me, T. Luna. I appreciated your words and your assistance with that, and even introducing me to it. It's been lovely, lovely, lovely. All right, that's it for me today. I'm trying to keep my word and share. So you share. Yeah, and that's good. I love you. All right. That is it for me.